Amy and her team. And we have Lonnie over here to the left and Justin over here to the right. They are a downsizing organization company. They've been in business for about 90 years. And actually, Whitney's mother-in-law used to live here.
Yeah.
So
For 12 years. I don't know if you knew Leona Biro. Yeah. Yeah, I was blessed to have her as my mother-in-law. Oh, wonderful.
So you guys are in good hands today. So thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having us. Well, Jess, I'm so glad that you brought about 20 of your friends to help me today because I have done some Swedish death cleaning at my house, but I'm stuck on this last box of items, and I'm hoping that you can all help me out with Jess's help. Does that sound like a plan? Okay. Dun, dun, dun.
Mystery box. Always.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody in here can relate. No, okay.
All right, let's see what you got.
You ready? All right, take a deep breath.
Oh boy.
Shazam! Anybody know what this is? Yeah.
We all had one of those, right?
Yes.
Go like 16 years ago, then, right?
Some of us like to collect certain things, and maybe I have a viewfinder collection at my house, Viewmaster. I'm wondering what to do with this though, because I have quite a few. They're just in a box in my closet right now.
How many is quite a few?
Let's just say quite a few.
Okay. Are you using them all?
Well, with that many, of course, I can't use them all.
Right. Yes.
And it got all these discs too, the little slides. Yeah.
Lots of those as well.
Yeah, but a lot of good memories. Does anybody out here collect anything? I see some hands go up. If you're willing to share what you collect, I'm curious. Of course, you don't have to share if you don't want to. Records?
Nice.
Seashells? Nice.
Little things I've made by hand.
Little things you've made by hand. And Shirley, sorry, what'd you say?
I have collected things, but I just stopped because I can't.
You stopped collecting things.
Do you still have your collections?
I'm not very much. Just when you mentioned seashells, I do have seashells, but I break them out into my home.
Okay, so you have seashells too. There's a connection here. I saw a hand back there.
I said I have so many pictures.
Yeah.
We'll talk about pictures in just a sec. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
My mother's Afghans.
Your mother's Afghans. Wow.
Orange and green.
Many different colors. Wonderful. So I know some of us have maybe done a little bit of right sizing of our collections already, and I'm curious, what are some things that worked for you? How did you let go of those things? Yeah. Gave them to your children. That is probably our number one response that we hear. Donna, how about you?
Well, I had a doll collection.
Okay.
I had no place. I had no place to put it in my apartment. So what could I do? I didn't want 3 or 4 boxes of dolls
Yeah.
to be put in an attic somewhere, wherever.
Yeah.
Because I love those dolls. So I was here over my first year here. I was here over Christmas,
Mhm.
and I thought one morning I woke up and I said, I know what I'm going to do with my dolls. I'm going to give them away.
Nice. So other people could enjoy them. Nice.
And it was a wonderful thing, and it was just glorious. I had about 40 dolls. My daughter had to put them on a table, and in 2 hours they were gone. But they
Wow.
left their homes with
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that story.
I love it.
So, two folks said give them away to people who will appreciate them. When you are giving things to your kids, we have heard of the DoorDash phenomenon. Have you heard about that? The DoorDash phenomenon, where people are leaving things on their children's doorsteps, literally ringing the doorbell and running. So I don't recommend that. It's okay with zucchini, I think. You can always share the wealth.
But we do want to make sure when we pass things on that they're going to somebody who wants them and will use them and enjoy them and not just throw them in the trash.
Right. And some of them might be something that could be sold too. Shirley?
In fact, I got one of those dolls,
Okay.
and because I have grandchildren, but I brought it home and I showed my granddaughter, and she said, you know, kids don't, nowadays, they don't appreciate dolls like that. I mean, these were beautiful. I got the nice Shirley Temple doll and everything closed, but, so I gave it back to Dawn to get it home.
Okay.
It's on my dresser.
So sometimes things we give away might end up coming back to us like a boomerang.
But also, I was moving from Florida out to here,
Uh-huh.
and I knew that I couldn't bring everything. So there's a store that you can bring stuff to.
Yes.
So I donated a lot of stuff.
Wonderful.
Sometimes it's like, oh, where is that? You know, you picture where it was in
Yeah.
that drawer, and oh, that drawer's not here anymore. That drawer's in Florida. So
Yeah.
that's stuff that you wish you hadn't gotten rid of.
So,
But I haven't.
yeah.
It's been okay.
Good. I'm glad that you haven't had a lot of regrets and that you donated things and they went to help other people, which is great. Well, thank you for your ideas on collections. You ready to see what I have next in this box? All right. Ta-da! It's my grandmother's china. I don't suppose anybody in here has ever faced this same conundrum. Or maybe you have china yourself. Maybe you have the special Christmas pattern that comes out once or twice a year. What do you think about this? What should I do with my grandmother's china? I've got 12 place settings. Which, you know, that's a lot to store if we only use it at Thanksgiving and Christmas. What do you think? Donate it?
Consignment
When I-
shop.
Consignment. A lot of consignment shops, unfortunately, they won't take it. It's got this gold rim. It has to be hand washed. And unfortunately, I think younger generations don't want to do any hand washing, from what I understand. Yes, ma'am.
On the hand wash conundrum, I looked at all of my fine china, it was Lennox, and I had a gold rim, and it says no dishwasher, and I thought, well,
Yeah.
it's either the china or me. Well, I was gonna give it. I decided it was gonna be the china. So I brought it over, and I do use it in the dishwasher, however, I didn't realize, I didn't think about the fact that I can't put it in the microwave.
Yes. Yes.
So the china goes to the second edition and it's sold through the library, so.
Yes, for those who aren't familiar, Cedar Mill Community Library has a second edition resale shop right next door to the library. So you can donate things there and they'll sell them and the proceeds benefit the library. Wonderful idea. I'm glad you chose yourself instead of the china.
And the gold has not worn off.
Really, the gold made it through the dishwasher. Okay, that's good to know. But we won't put it in the microwave because my mother-in-law, when she lived here, she actually did blow up a microwave. I think the fire department came out. I don't know if Howard remembers all that excitement, but okay. So she wasn't alone. That's good to know. Any other ideas for China?
Vase,
I could make this into a vase. Great idea. Thank you. There's also a gentleman who lives in Cedar Mill. His name is Dave Smith, and he and his brother own Smith Brothers China. And they have had their company for over 40 years. And so they'll come out to your house for free and evaluate your china. And he'll tell you the history of it, tell you if it's worth anything, and then he'll make you an offer right on the spot if it's something that you want to let go of. So just an idea. And if you need any resources, always feel free to reach out to us. Okay. You guys are so helpful. You ready for the next one? Okay. This one is one of my toughest bugaboos. Books. Anybody relate? Yeah. Books. Yeah.
What do? I take the park with them. They're like parting my friends. It's like if
Yeah.
it's my friends, my books.
Right.
She said it's like partying with her friends. Yeah. So what ideas do we have?
I had a lot of children's books too.
Nice.
I also sometimes, when I finish reading a book, I'll take it with me in my car, and when I pass a little free library somewhere on the street, I just pop it in there. Sometimes I might pop one out also.
One in, one out. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, that is actually a very good rule to keep in mind for not just books, but really anything, clothing, one in, one out. If you have a limited amount of space, we can't just accumulate and accumulate. So if I get a new shirt, great, I love this shirt, I go in my closet, find one that I haven't worn in a while, and donate it. This way we keep cycling and things don't pile up.
Yes. So I heard the library mentioned a few times. So Cedar Mill Community Library will take 2 boxes of books. If you have more than that, so for example, we were working in a house where someone had passed away and we had 50 boxes of books. But the Hillsborough Public Library can take a massive amount, and then they have a big sale twice a year. They also take costume jewelry. They take books in other languages besides English. So call ahead, but that's a great resource for donating books to as well. Yes. Yes, the Hillsborough Public Library, which is part of the Washington County Library Services, they will take costume jewelry for their biannual sale as well. Yes, thank you. It's on Brookwood. Yeah.
And then Powell's also will take books and sell what they can for you and then donate what they don't think they can sell. So if you have any unique books or books that you feel, are better than just dropping off for donation there somewhere, then you can certainly take them to Powell's and have them evaluated there as well.
I think now that you can scan your books ahead of time before you actually physically go to Powell's too, and it'll tell you if they'll buy it. So that's kind of a newer thing that they've added, which is nice, because I have stood in line with a shopping cart full of books and to drag them forward, inch by inch as I move up the line. So it's kind
How
of.
do you do that? Scan them?
I think there's an app that you can download too.
You scan the barcode on the book.
Yes, yeah. There's also. Oh, go ahead. Yes, the ISBN number.
Right.
Yes, the ISBN number. Thank you. There's also, for those of you who use your smartphones, there's an app called Declutter, but without the E. So Declutter spelled without the E, and you can scan CDs, books, and any other media. So if it's something that you're looking to sell, then you put it in a box and you ship it to them. I think they pay for the shipping, and then they sell the items and send you a check. So that's something that you can use for media as well. Yeah.
If it's the first edition, you've got something that's worth something.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, and if you need any resources for book collectors, or if you have something that's very special, please feel free to reach out and we'll give you their information. Yes.
That deal with East Asian religions, philosophy books. They're not. If you put them in somebody's life, first of all, there's 12 cartons of them, and second, few people want to read them, but those who do want them appreciate them. So what do you do with books that are not commonly desired?
It might be something that pals would be interested in if they're on the rare side. There's also a program for prisons, or to donate books to prisons. There's also Books for Africa, too, where books are shipped to Africa for people to read. So there's a lot of different venues and resources that we have to find the right homes for books.
And if you wanted to sell them as a collection, like if it's all,
Yes.
something that one particular person would be interested in the whole lot, you could try to sell them on Facebook Marketplace or eBay or,
Yeah.
try to find that one person who would be interested and they can all go together.
And if you're not comfortable posting things for sale online, we can connect you with somebody who can do that for you.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
the idea of the prison thing, because there are a number of Buddhist sanghas in prisons.
Yeah,
Maybe if you could give me that.
sure. Would you please, we'll have you put your name on here and make a note on the side about the prison book resource? Thank you very much. One other idea for those of us who are bibliophiles, think about maybe if you have a bookshelf and you have a certain amount of space and you need to kind of curate your collection to fit your space. So as you're bringing books in, as Jess was mentioning, the one in, one out, that's something that can kind of help us have some guidelines for ourselves too, as far as our collections go. Just a thought, because I have been in homes where clients have had books kind of piled all over the floor, and it was a really big safety hazard. So, you ready for the next thing? You guys are a really big, helpful group. Thank you so much. Oh, man. I'm sure none of you have any craft hobbies. I see you laughing over here. In fact, I've got more in here. Let's see. Oh, where did my paints go? Any artists in the room? I see some hands going up. Yeah. Anybody have maybe 20 million art projects and you haven't had a chance to finish them all yet? Yeah. Just a couple, says Shirley. Yes, hold on one sec. Let me bring you the mic.
That was one of the hardest things for me to part with, was my art supplies. The Village of Art, which sits between the library, Cedarville Library, and Second Edition. It's a gallery and it's also a school. You can take lots of lessons on painting and drawing, etc. there. And they have children's classes also. They have it once a year sale, usually September, of used art supplies that are still usable.
Nice.
And they would love any donations of yarn, paint, easels, brushes,
Wonderful.
etc.
Excellent, thank you.
And it's almost September, so some of us do better when we have a deadline to help motivate us. You've got a couple weeks here. Thank you for that idea. What else? What else should I do with my paints and my yarn? Jess, you have any thoughts?
I would first sit and think about how often you're using your supplies. Are you knitting anymore?
No, it was part of that stitch and bitch phase.
Right.
I know.
So we want to try to look at things as getting a second life, right? So donating them where children or someone in school can be using them instead of them just sitting in your closet going to waste. Paints, things like that are going to dry up if they sit unused. So really, it's better to get them into the hands of somebody who wants to use it now. So in addition, there is also a place in Portland called Reclaim It. They also take used art supplies all year long, so you don't have to worry about doing it in September if you're not ready. They will take supplies, knitting supplies, any kind of crafting supplies, paints, you name it, they'll take it.
Say the name again.
Reclaim It.
It's in North Portland on Killingsworth. They have an online store and a physical store. And they'll even take, hopefully all your dolls have heads, but they'll take, doll heads and strange eclectic things like that.
So they have a lot of artists that shop there, so they'll take old clocks that don't work, because artists will take clocks apart and use the pieces for art pieces, so there's really a lot of cool stuff in there. It's a quirky interesting store to visit.
They have mannequins, broken furniture, all kinds of random things there. There's also a nonprofit called Scrap. Has anyone heard of Scrap? SCRAP? PDX. It was founded by school teachers, and it's located downtown near PGE Park, where they play soccer. And they'll take all kinds of different art supplies too, and people from the community come in and buy supplies to use in their projects. So, yes.
All of these suggestions are wonderful, but how do we, living here,
Hmm?
get them to these places? That's the hard part.
Yeah.
I don't know that many of them can make contributions. We'll send somebody out here to pick them up. Do you know that?
Yes, that can be the tricky thing. It's something that our team does. But there's also, if you just want it to go to a good home and it doesn't need to go to a specific charity, there's Just Porch It. Think of your front porch. And they'll do a free charity pickup, and you just set it outside. We'll have to communicate with Howard and Lisa and figure out, where can we put it out here at Laurel Park? But you set it on your porch, and literally they'll come get it and donate it to charity for you. Also, Vietnam veterans will do free pickups. Union Gospel Mission will do free pickups as well. So maybe we could designate a site here at Laurel Park for that. Yeah, you could even have them scheduled, twice a month or something, and everybody in the community just puts their items out. I love it. Good question. Thank you. Anything else about arts and craft supplies?
You mentioned Gospel Mission. What was the other one?
Vietnam Veterans of America. Yep. And then Just Porch It. Yeah. And if there's any resources that you missed today, just drop us. You can grab our card here. You can sign up here and just let us know. We're happy to either call you or email you the resource. And we're going to send you these slides as well, and we have some tips and resources there as well. Yeah. You want to pull out the next one, Jess?
All right, let's see.
Oops, I took this one out. I'll put that one in there. My love letters from college. Shirley says, I can't get rid of these. I don't believe you. I'm sure you had some love letters. Maybe a couple. Okay. Has anybody else faced this conundrum with their love letters? Yes.
Did you keep them? What did you do with them?
That's the same metal container you just send his dirty clothes home for his mother and sent back to school again when he was at the university. So anyway, so it's in a metal box and all of them. We finally got married in between the junior and senior years, so we didn't have to write them.
Oh.
68 years.
Oh, congratulations.
But then the next thing we want to think about is how often we revisit them. We go back and actually read them.
I think we have an idea back here.
Sit there.
Yeah.
I say keep them for your children to read when you die.
What if we don't have children or any family who would be? You have nephews, okay. Yeah. Any thoughts? And maybe you've got some letters you don't want your children to read. That's when you use the shredder, she says. Okay. Has anybody heard of a burn box? Burn box? B-U-R-N. This idea comes from the art of Swedish death cleaning, the gentle art of Swedish death cleaning. It's a book by Margareta Matheson. You probably have heard of it. No? It's a really good short book if you like books. So this is a box, could be about this size, and you put items in it that you want your family to burn when you pass on to your next adventure. They don't open it, they don't look in it, they don't read it. So this is your box of things that you want to enjoy while you're still with us, but you want to have burned upon your passing. So it's called a burn box.
And I think we have something else in here that we might want to put in the burn box.
It's my
Diaries and journals.
journal from the Peace Corps. Yes. Yeah. Anybody else have letters or diaries or journals or? Yeah. A few. Yeah.
Does anybody ever go back and read their old diaries and journals?
You do. With your permission, your family read them?
I don't know. My mother had passed at that point.
Okay. I thought they read your journals. No.
No.
Okay.
Journals, seeing if there was a story that could be created, but nobody had the oomph to do it.
What I've done for some of my what I've done with some of my little books that I have that I've written diaries in and stuff. I've reread those and then I will mail them when I write a letter. If I've written something 50 years ago about my son on his birthday and it's his birthday, and I'll tear that page out and mail him that with a letter so that he can read what I wrote about him 50 years ago on his birthday. And my children just love that when I do that.
I love that. I think that's a really sweet idea.
Thank you for sharing that. That could also work with photos too, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't give those away, okay.
I just visited my sister who is moving to assisted living, and she had a couple of pictures of two of my daughters, and she gave them to me, and I'm going to mail those on to my daughters. But yeah, just to find them, things like that, pictures or letters or journals. Sometimes I always kept a journal when I was traveling, and as we went to different places. And once in a while I look back at those and I've forgotten that we went there or whatever, so it's been very helpful, but of course
Yeah.
that's only for my pleasure, and I suppose that would be a good thing to add to the burn box.
Possibly. Depends on what's in those journals.
I live down in Claremont, and there's quite a few estate sales there all the time, and
Yeah.
I've been there over years. And the interesting thing about the travel photograph album that I have was I was home raising children for many years, and I finally got to travel with to take 10 rolls of film, and they all went in albums. But when they have estate sales, the albums are there, and you open them up, and all the pictures, it's obvious that there's pictures missing, and that there's no pictures that you can find of mom and dad or grandma and grandpa. So I now take no scenery pictures when I'm on a trip because I know that the children don't want that. They don't want your scenery pictures.
Yes.
And so it'll be really, that's something that's going to be easy to burn.
Fair.
Photographs with the scenery pictures.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I should take mom and dad out.
Thank you for that. Maybe we should talk about photos next. I know we had some interest in that. Oh, here they come.
Look at that. Surprise, surprise. Whitney has photos in her mystery box.
I do. These are relatives, and I don't know who they are. Do you have any pictures like that too at your house? Yes. Yes. What are your thoughts? So we could burn the landscape ones because our family isn't going to be interested in those, or future generations won't be interested. So I'm curious what you've done with your photos or what ideas you have. They're in the box. Okay.
With all the letters.
With all the letters and journals.
I keep one box that's family history. I have one box that I just place with family history. Any old stuff I find about any members of my family or past generations, I put in that box. And we don't know what will happen to that box, but hopefully maybe one of my kids will like, oh, look at, there's great grandma so and so, or who is this? Oh, it's not labeled. So
Yeah.
if you got pictures, label them now if you know. But, I had several of those, and someone else gave me, they were unlabeled. So.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a great idea, and if you have anybody in your family who's working on genealogy, it would be wonderful to pass things on to them.
Yeah.
Put photos in, like, your ancestry tree and link them to people. That's a wonderful idea.
Yeah. I have one last thought about letters. Is anyone in here a veteran? Couple folks in the group. There is a project where veterans who've written letters during the wars and during their service, you can ship them in, and they'll scan them into their collection, into the archive. So if you have some letters that you don't know what to do with, that could be an option as well. Yes.
One thing I did also was that I got 5 boxes in my attic with each of my children's names on it, so when they send me things, I don't know, I wish I had started this when they were like 1 year old, but I didn't until many, many years later. They each have an album in my collection also with their names on it.
Nice.
I should have started much sooner. And the boxes in the attic are nice because when they send me, especially now, you get a lot of the photographs of their families.
Mhm.
Little postcard thing, and I just toss it into the box, and so it makes it easy.
Nice.
Because I think they will enjoy seeing those when I'm gone. So,
Yeah.
If you write on the back, you should write on the back of your pictures the name of the person that's on the picture, because it could be very good to know where that person is. If somebody wants that picture, their great-great-great-grandmother,
Yeah.
they want to know, but make sure you write on the bottom of the picture, not on across the picture, because when you write on the back and you write on the picture itself, the ink from the pen that you write with will spoil that photograph.
Yes.
So you gotta make sure you write on the bottom of the page, of the picture.
Thank you. My mother-in-law, Leona, actually did that. She took a Sharpie and wrote on the front of pictures in permanent marker.
I'm sorry to keep talking all the time, but I'm not right all the time, I just can talk through it. But anyway, the other thing is that we do a lot of genealogy, and the worst thing you do when you're labeling your pictures, please do not put mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, because, you look at that, and we're almost all moms or dads, grandmas and grandpas, and you think, really, which one? So don't put, it's hard to call your parents like Elsa and Mildred or Herbert and Alberta, because, that's
Feels unnatural.
not polite to do, so anyway.
Yes.
Right, yeah, full names and even a year, if we know the year that photos are taken, would certainly be helpful if somebody's working on a genealogy project.
For sure. So there might be some people, though, that no one in the family can identify. And so what do we do with all those old photos? Because it feels awful to throw our relations in the trash, right? So we have a comment back here, and then I'm going to share a resource.
If you can identify the era, like Civil War, Pioneer Days, the museums will take them. Historical Museum and Oregon Historical Museum. We had a collection of stuff from Civil War. We had a hat, a couple of swords, and half a uniform, and some certificates. And we brought them to Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, which is where they were from. They were thrilled to have this stuff because it followed one soldier from his youth all the way through his death. And so that was a good place, was the museum.
Thank you. Great idea. And I'm coming to you.
If you have the energy and the time and the materials, I wrote a genealogy for my family. And that went over very well. Published it, self-published it, and gave it to the family members.
Excellent. The a lot of work. I know I've been the only one in my family to care enough to start doing that, so I know what goes into it. It's hours and hours and hours and hours of work.
But if you enjoy that, it's wonderful to leave a legacy, or the boxes that you're leaving as a legacy for your kids. Yeah. For those folks, maybe you've tried and you just can't identify them, Scrap, that arts and crafts resource, the nonprofit that we talked about earlier, they will take any photographs that are from the 1970s or earlier, and you can donate them there, and people can use them in arts and crafts projects, like collages, postcards, etc. Scrap, PDX, SCRAP. It's a nonprofit, and it's located in Northwest Portland. Yeah. Well, thanks for all your ideas on photos.
And I would think that you could probably call Scrap if you were interested in doing that, and see if you could mail photos to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. As long as it's maybe not the paints, something, Oh, there's lots of stuff in here, Jess. What do you think?
Let's see what you got.
All right. Ta-da!
Fabulous work of art.
Thank you.
Somebody made it.
Yes, my niece made this for me in pottery class, and it's a pen holder, and I have about 15 from their pottery days. So what do you do with gifts that people give you, and they came from someone you love, so you don't want to just throw them away, but maybe I don't need 20 of them, I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Give it back. Can you?
Give it back.
Oh, I think it's a good idea to give it back, or ask if they want it.
Yes.
I have a whole collection of your work here. Would you like to take it back and display it somewhere?
No, they're not interested, unfortunately, so I need a plan B. Any other ideas? Do you want to share?
Donate it to a school
Donate it to a school?
that makes projects and show the kids that are making stuff that these are things that you could make too.
Yeah, I could possibly donate it to a school. There's also one of our favorite places to donate to.
Reclaim it.
I know.
They take pottery, even if it's broken. They can be used in art projects as well, mosaics, things like that. So they will take broken pottery as well as whole pottery. And then we had another little ideas, like for things like that, maybe you go over to a friend's house for dinner and you put some flowers in there and keep the vase.
Yeah, and just conveniently forget it.
These place that in that
They probably would, yeah.
reclaim it.
Reclaim it. And you can always call them in advance and check if you're interested.
I was just curious what club or what place you were talking about to take these precious things,
Oh, reclaim it.
reclaim it.
Yeah, and they put it all together as one word, but reclaim it. And they do a biannual art show called Cracked Pots. Maybe you've heard of that, where people make art out of reused, reclaimed materials. And they have a garden art show, which is really fun to attend, and then they have another one as well. So, yeah. I'm curious what kind of gifts you've been given, and maybe you're struggling to let some of these things go.
Well, actually, I'm not letting it go. There was one Christmas tree ornament that my daughter made, probably in first or second grade, I'm not sure. And it's pretty ugly. But I still, I haven't had a Christmas tree since I came here, but I still kept that one ornament and put it on the tree just to sort of, and once she saw it, she goes, Mom, I made that? Yeah, you made that.
I hear some nodding, and someone said we all have stuff like that. Yeah, I think with the gifts, you can always re-gift it too, as long as we don't accidentally give it back to the person who gave it to us. Any other ideas for gifts? No? Okay. Any other thoughts on gifts, Jess?
Gift Gifts are a tough one, I think, for everyone. You know, you don't want somebody to come over and be like, where is the picture that I bought for you 3 Christmases ago? So for me, I'm pretty minimalist, go figure, as an organizer. I try to make sure that I have a photo of everything anybody's ever bought me, so they can see that at least at some point in time it was in use. And I am the type of gift giver with no strings. If I give something to somebody and they don't like it, need it, want it, and they give it to somebody else, that is absolutely fine by me. It's the thought of giving the gift, it's not the gift itself, right? It doesn't, the thing doesn't matter as much as the thought.
That reminds me of cards.
Cards, greeting cards. Does anybody keep their greeting cards?
Not anymore. Some people are like, oh, yes, yes.
I hear a lot of yeses and one no. So I have lots of cards from over the years, and I started to take pictures of them with my phone, and I have a folder now on my computer of all the greeting cards I've ever received. All the paper is gone. Then one day, far off in the future, when I can't remember who loved me, I can go to this folder and start reading through all the other cards. And then they don't take up any space in my house.
But for those of us who maybe aren't digital, maybe we prefer paper, you have any thoughts for us?
I would say try to pare them down to just the really, really special ones. Like, let's say you got a really sweet card from your son. Maybe put the writing in the card behind a photo that you frame and have somewhere in your house, so you're at least seeing it and enjoying it, instead of all these cards that we all just put in a box in a closet, and really most people don't ever look at them again, and that's not honoring it in any way.
Yeah. Other thoughts about cards?
You can also, I mean, I think that even for crafting, that people can reuse the cards, make, or maybe make new cards.
Yeah.
You know, not have the inside, but just the outside of the card, and you turn it into a new card.
Yeah.
I had recently a local artist give me a blank greeting card with her artwork on the front, and it was gorgeous, and I framed it, and it's on my wall.
Nice. We had one client who, for her 60th birthday, she had a lot of cards that she got from friends, and she made them into placemats. So she made a collage and then had them laminated, and now she has 6 placemats that she uses, and then she can see the cards and they're honored, and yeah, it's a practical solution. I liked that. Yeah. Any other thoughts about cards? How many people get the free greeting cards in the mail, and maybe you have like boxes of blank cards? I see some hands, brave hands going up. Yeah. Thoughts about that? Because sometimes we have more cards than we can send out in our lifetime.
I just made a note that I'm going to call St. Mary of the Valley because I'm going to call St. Mary of the Valley because I know that there's a nun there that makes things out of the Christmas cards, and it's like you're saying, all different kinds of things. So I'm going to
Nice.
call them and see if they collect other cards also,
Oh, great.
and then I can donate them.
Nice. That's a new one for me. I'm going to add that to our resource list. Shirley?
Well, with the free cards, I got many cards from charitable organizations.
Yeah.
And, you know, I still send cards to a few of my family members, but I was just stacking up the cards. So, last year, I'll have to admit, I was president of the resident council here, and I started putting a card for everyone's birthday on their ledge. So I got rid of all of those cards, and I ran out. So for those residents that I didn't get a card to, that's why, because I ran out of free cards. I was nice, but not that nice that I would buy the cards. Well done.
That's a good problem to have, though, to run out of those free cards. That's quite an accomplishment. I thought I saw a hand back here, too. No? About cards. Okay. All righty. I'm just going to check, see how we're doing on time. Okay. Whew, I've got some more things here. don't know if anybody has some sentimental clothing hanging in your closet, like this little prom dress here, which maybe doesn't fit anymore.
I was just gonna say, for most of us, maybe our prom dress wouldn't still fit. I think Whitney can probably get away with it.
I don't know. Might not be fitting at my age. Anybody have anything sentimental? Or maybe you have clothing that you inherited from family members. Yes.
You know, we have some Afghans.
Mm-hmm.
I have some of my mother's clothing, so I donated it to the local museum, who really wanted to have it. It's a history museum.
Oh,
They wanted
right.
to have them. So that
Nice.
was a place where I could always still see them, but yet they were displayed as time or period or whatever.
Wonderful.
That is a great idea. Thank you.
I had my mom's 1939 wedding dress, which was very, very beautiful. And Oregon State University has a textile research room that I donated it to them, and those who are studying fashion and textiles get to use all this stuff. So it makes me feel good that my mom's pretty dress is not just tucked away someplace, it's being used.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Jess, we've also had some clients with vintage clothing. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, vintage clothing can often be consigned. So instead of it just sitting in your closet, you can get a few dollars for it. Lots of consignment places all over close by here. I'm sure a lot of places you can send a picture and not have to drag everything down there and just kind of gauge interest and see if there's a need for it.
Yeah. We also had clients who have military uniforms. One second. Do we have lists? We can send you one specific to your needs. Please reach out by phone or email, because we have over, I think, about 400 resources in our. We created an app for ourselves. Yeah.
There's a vintage shop in downtown Beaverton.
Mm-hmm. The vault.
That you can take your things, they can,
Yeah.
they can sell them.
Yeah, and just to reiterate
Thank you.
again, if there's anything specific that you're looking for, that we can help give a resource, put your name, phone number, or email address, whatever your preference is, and we will get something close to you that is best to do for what you're trying to sell.
Yeah.
Or
It's
doing.
wonderful to go there to buy something if you have a party to go to. Dress up and stuff, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Instead of spending $200 on a new dress that you're gonna wear one time.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We've also had clients use them as Halloween costumes, old clothes.
Yeah, well, you can, I was gonna say, I have borrowed my daughter's prom dress, and I made it into an outfit. I used to do, we used to do floats for the Starlight Parade, and we always had a different theme. And one time it was Wizard of Oz, so I used my wedding dress to turn it into Glinda the Good Witch.
Nice.
And my daughter's prom dress turned into Tinkerbell for one, and
Creative.
so, just use your kids' clothes, and if you can get into them still, or your old clothes, or costumes, that's good.
Thanks. Those are fun ideas, and you've all probably heard of maybe making quilts out of T-shirts or other things that are meaningful. Or we have an organizing colleague who makes handbags, tote bags, out of old things. There's also a new resource I learned about where they make stuffed animals out of clothing, so then you can give it a new life but still have it in your home to admire. Yeah.
Yes.
You can make,
You can make Halloween costumes out of newspapers. My husband did that, and he went to the history of days past, and he had pictures of newspapers flipped out, and he wore the whole outfit.
That's
Oh.
great.
Wow. That is super creative. I hope it wasn't raining. I had one more thought about clothing, but it's flown out the door, so if it comes back, I will holler.
As you all see, she really can't let go of that dress.
I know. What about these shoes, though? Because I can't wear heels anymore, I have to admit. Vintage stores, yeah. Or maybe a theater program. These almost remind me of, if they were red, they could be Dorothy's shoes. Yes.
Is the drama departments at different schools.
Yes, drama departments at different schools.
They love to get,
The
Mhm.
theater department at the universities, any
Yes.
will take a lot of this costuming that you don't know what to do with. They love
Yeah.
Yeah.
it. My mother's fur coat went there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, fur coats are tricky. But the Vault in Beaverton will take them. Assistance League of Beaverton, which is a nonprofit, they'll take a few of those on consignment depending on what they have in stock. And
Quite picky though.
they can be quite selective, yes. We've also had a client who had her fur coats remade into pillows, so she could still enjoy them. Yeah.
Another thing, some kids, high school students that are going to their first prom, or their high school prom, don't have evening gowns.
Yeah.
And if you have evening gowns in your closet, that's a good place because those sort of don't go out of style, most of them. And if you donate your evening gowns to the school, they can see that a student gets them for their prom.
There are actually also specific nonprofits that do that just for prom dresses.
Also business, and when you retire, you have business goals.
Yeah.
Organizations that take your clothes to give to women that are starting out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most women's shelters really appreciate business clothes so that women can go in, get an outfit for job interviews, things like that.
Yeah, there's Dress for Success. I think they want to have clothing that is only 3 years old or newer. And has anybody heard of Rose Haven? Yes. Rose Haven, it's a women and children's day shelter in Northwest Portland, and they serve over 200 clients a day. So people come in and they can take a shower, get a hot meal. They also take donations of arts and craft supplies for women and children to do projects with. They provide a lot of services. They provide mental health help. They provide medical assistance, financial assistance for people to help pay their bills. So they do a lot of good work in the community, so you can donate clothing there as well. Yeah.
And I always throw this one out too. Rose Haven will also take lightly used toiletries, so
Mhm.
new toiletries, which you generally can't donate anywhere else. You can't send that to Goodwill. Nobody will take that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
Rose Haven will package it up for folks and
Yeah.
get it to use, which is a tough thing to offload sometimes, so it's nice to have that as a resource.
Yeah, they'll even take incontinence supplies. Luggage. If you have,
Luggage,
yeah.
backpacks, for folks that are houseless, they will
camping equipment,
tents, things like that.
yeah, all kinds of things.
Blanchard House will take a little bit, clothing and things like that.
Blanchard House, okay. You ready for one more item? Okay. Dun, dun, dun. So we already talked about costume jewelry. Oh, yes. Children's artwork. I'm curious if you have any of this in your boxes for your kids? Yeah. Donna?
I would just recycle it out of your house, or give it back to the child first, and then just give it away. Give it away. Easily.
You're breaking my heart, Donna. I think I'm a little bit more sentimentally wired than you. I'm having a hard time letting go, which is why it's still in my box.
So think about, one woman lately said, if it gives you joy, keep it.
Mhm.
If not, it's out of here. My very most favorite place is to go to the Goodwill.
Yeah.
Take it, and we can get on our bus here
Mhm.
with a box, a bag, and deliver it to them that way.
Yes. I'm with you as an organizer. A lot of our clients, it's not so easy though.
Well,
But-
even as an organizer, my son's artwork was not so easy for me. I had to put limits on myself, and I would create a binder for each school year and hole punch select pieces that were my favorites and keep them in the binder. And when the binder was full, either something had to get recycled or go back to the kiddo, or it didn't get to stay. So it can be tough for some people. It was hard for me to let go of any of that, but we all know that throughout the course of a school year, we get mountains of artwork and projects, and you can't keep it all.
If you want to get it out of your box, frame it, put it on the wall.
Excellent. I love that idea.
I did just find one of my favorite paintings that my son did. He's 29 now. He did it, I think, in like 2nd grade, and it's so cute and matches a painting that my mom did, and I framed it and I have them side by side in my living room.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other last thoughts about children's artwork or grandkids' artwork? Or great-grandkids' artwork? Yeah, I love your idea about the boxes. We often recommend that to clients too, having one box per child, and then you have that physical limit as well. You can only keep what'll fit in the box. Usually it's the parents that have the hardest time letting go. The kids don't want it back. They're not as attached to it.
They might want to look at it and laugh.
Yes.
Yeah, my son has no interest in anything that I associate with his.
No, yeah.
Pictures
Maybe later.
Maybe. I thought, like, creeping up on 30, he might be like, yeah, I'd like to see that.
Try
Doesn't
50
care.
try 50 or 60.
Wait till he's 50 or 60.
I still have a binder. I did keep one binder.
Well, thank you so much for having us out today. We're kind of out of time now, so I want to let you go to lunch. But if you have any individual questions, we're happy to chat with you afterwards and address those. Or if there was a resource and maybe you missed writing it down, we're happy to say it again. So thank you again.